I'm mad as hell, as a matter of fact. Are you feeling angry today?
Yes.
Why are we angry? What is the ultimate reason for this righteous indignation that we're all feeling that's choking us some mornings? It's that our government that purports to speak in our name is not only failing to prevent a genocide of one of Canada's closest allies, but is actively enabling and facilitating and cheering on that genocide.
Shame.
Never was there a greater reason for us to be indignant as Canadian citizens. And when I say that there is a genocide happening before the eyes of the world in Gaza, and not just in Gaza, but also in the West Bank, albeit at a lower level of depravity, I speak to you as a lawyer. Whether there is a genocide being committed in Gaza is not a political question, my friends. It certainly has political dimensions. It certainly has a very big moral dimension. But ultimately, I address you today as a lawyer with over 30 years of practice experience. That doesn't make me infallible, no lawyer is. But I've learned over 30 years a thing or two about the meaning of the definition of genocide. And it's not particularly complicated. It's contained in Article 2 of the Genocide Convention. And basically, it's committing certain acts with the intention to destroy in whole or in part a racial group, a religious group, an ethnic group. The Genocide Act then lists 5 acts, which are not exhaustive. I'll just mention 2: killing members of the group, and another one is deliberately creating the conditions that will result in the destruction of the group. How can anyone deny, in seriousness, in good faith, that Israel is deliberately committing those acts? Israel declared a complete blockade on Gaza. Not only has it killed over 10,000 Gazans in approximately 1 month, but it is depriving them of food, it's depriving them of water, it's depriving them of fuel, it's depriving them of medicines. And let's not be fooled by this sick charade where they let a few trucks into Gaza, which aren't even remotely sufficient in order to meet the minimum needs for survival of the people of Gaza. That is a sick charade, my friends. They are being deprived of the essentials of life. There is no question that every single aspect of this definition of genocide from a legal perspective is being satisfied. I told you about intent. What evidence do we have that there's intent? They're not even hiding their intent. They're bragging that they have the intent to destroy the Palestinian people. Yoav Gallant, the defense minister of Israel, on television referred to the people of Gaza as human animals and said we will treat them as such when he declared his sick blockade on that densely populated enclave, 1/2 of whose inhabitants are children. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said we will make Gaza into an island of ruins. His heritage minister 3 days ago declared that there are no non-combatants in Gaza and that the use of a nuclear weapon is an option. And what was the response of the Prime Minister of Israel? Did he expel that man, that lunatic, from his cabinet? No, he suspended him. That was the greatest punishment he could inflict upon a minister of his government who openly declares that the use of a nuclear weapon on 2 million civilians is a legitimate option for the state of Israel.
Shame! Shame!
We even had the president of Israel, who in the perverted discourse of our country is often characterized as a moderate, saying that everyone in Gaza is responsible for the crimes of Hamas. Every single person. Why? Because they didn't overthrow them. They didn't take the steps necessary to remove Hamas from power. Assuming for a moment that they had the ability to do that, by that same logic, what do we say about the civilians of Israel? Are they not responsible for the acts of their own government? Does that then mean that we can target the civilians of Israel? Of course not. Of course not. That is inhumane reasoning, and our government should readily denounce it and renounce it. I want to say one other thing about the Genocide Convention. It's not simply an obligation to refrain from committing genocide and to refrain from enabling genocide, and certainly our government is doing the latter, but in Article 1 of the Convention, our government has an obligation to prevent the commission of genocide. It must take positive steps to stop it from happening. What is our government doing? It's calling for a humanitarian pause. I'll quote back to you the words of Professor Norman Finkelstein. A humanitarian pause is like fattening the turkey before you kill it. That's what it is. A pause of what? a pause of the killing, if they're going to bring in a few trucks to Gaza and then resume the wholesale destruction of the city and reimpose that blockade and continue to destroy mosques, continue to destroy churches, hospitals, ambulances, civilian convoys, water towers, then that humanitarian pause serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever. It is, yet again, a sick charade. There must be an absolute prohibition, a permanent prohibition on the bombardment of this open-air concentration camp, my friends. Only that should satisfy us. Personally, despite my anger, my rage, I will tell you that despite it all, I've never felt as hopeful today as I do for the Palestinian people. Yes, there is much more bloodshed to come, but their resilience, their courage, their determination is an inspiration to the world, and people everywhere are rising up, and we are going to bring this injustice to an end, my friends. The days of the apartheid regime are numbered, and it falls upon us as conscientious citizens to expedite its demise. Thank you.